Coming fall 1998. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. It's Scooby-Doo's first feature-length movie. Available only on video from Warner Brothers Family Entertainment.
No applause. We'll have to edit at home, so make sure you're applauding right now. So there you go, folks. Welcome to Talk Hard. Talk Hard Tuesday is upon us. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for being here. It is so awesome. My entire week is built around how I have Talk Hard ready to go. And yes, the applause button did not work for this intro, but that's okay. That's okay. As many of you know, Stone Cold Loki is away on his honeymoon, so congratulations again to he and Eras of Chaos. They had a wonderful wedding. Some great photos and stuff like that have already been shared, things like that. So we will welcome him back next week. But yes, best to him and all his nuptials. But with me, as always, the co-host himself, the Sharkcaster, the man from the Great White North. There below Chris Persia running the Great White North, but then there's Ironcaster. How are you doing, brother? What's going on?
I tell you, it's been a nice long week. I got to go kind of sit down and watch some really entertaining, movies here or there, and then I got to sit down and I got to revisit this little piece of my childhood, which I forgot how entertaining this movie was.
This is a big deal. I have to admit, you did it. You know, Sharkcaster does pick good ones too, folks. I know we give him a lot of crap and heat for some of the ones he puts us through, but this was good. This was fun. So
the rumors are true.
Yeah, no, it's great.
These good movies in the mix.
Yeah, we got to mix it up. So with us this week, our special guest, you may know him from over on Pacific 414 or over on Jace Fox channel there, the Studio for 20. CashMoney, Cash in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I just it's funny. Recently, Lord Crit showed me this movie, and I had never watched all of it. I was like, oh wow, this is really good. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
I did, as I was searching for that little Scooby-Doo teaser, I could not find the Scooby-Doo toy commercial, which I'm assuming if I dug a little bit longer and spent more time, I would find it rather easily because I know it's out there. But I did find that intro, and I did find this entire movie is free on YouTube through people's playlists. Now, it's a little tricky, obviously, when you do playlists, right? Because sometimes they could have an ad that pops in or something like that, but it's free. So it's a little bit behind a paywall right now, especially Halloween season, that kind of thing. So a lot of folks probably will have a chance to see it if you don't own it. But if you get a chance, Zombie Island is not just for kids. I think it's a good time. So, Cash, you just saw this. What was your first impression, if you don't mind me asking there?
I mean, I originally saw this 3 months ago. Then I always have to be prepared for things. But, I mean, it's a fun movie, and it has good values. And it's just, I miss the fact that cartoons for kids and even adults just don't, especially kids, don't have very good values anymore. There's just some kind of lecture that's not necessary. It's unfortunate. It really is. And so when you watch something like the Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, it's fun and it's a good story. And yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think that I like to talk about with my Saturday morning cartoons and other things I do. It's like they didn't treat kids as dumb. They treated us as we were smart.
Exactly.
We could have our little lectures and we could do whatever. And yes, we did know we were well aware they were selling us toys. So it wasn't like that we weren't aware of the marketing tie-ins, things like that, which has all been lost, by the way.
It has. I agree.
All right, Caster, you mentioned this being a key in your childhood. You got an early memory of this that we could put a pin in?
Well, I mean, this was one of those movies that I would want to look forward to every year because I knew like, Cartoon Network is gonna be playing a bunch of the Scooby Doo movies because they would always do this right around this time of year. You would get this movie, you would get Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Scooby Doo and the Boo Brothers, there's a few other ones as well that always kind of this nice little marathon you could kind of get every like. You basically get about a good day's worth of just classic kind of Scooby Doo stories out of it. But I mean, not only that, this has some of the really memorable songs in it that I would, are some of the first things I was always looking up on YouTube, like that song "It's Terror Time Again."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we spend a minute on that on this music a little bit here with Third Eye Blind as well, doing their version of the theme song. Some great stuff. Well, with that, let's say hello and welcome this wonderful chat. As always, you guys are amazing. Thank you all for all of your support with this channel. It's truly remarkable, and we can't thank you enough. We have some great news coming by the end of the year. We'll be able to tell you about some stuff going on with Talk Hard, and we're very excited about that as well. So. Princess Leia Rose is in the house. Hey there, lady. Hope you're doing well. And yes, I know we still need to connect, and maybe we'll have you back on. I've had you on before. I'd love to have you back. Just a lot of stuff going on in my real life. I mean, that's going to probably be my theme of this week's What's Your Story on Sunday. If you follow my What's Your Story, it'll probably be me just kind of be a little more transparent about things that have been going on. But we will definitely figure that out. So, and as I mentioned, the mod himself, the GOAT, Chris Persia, holding things down for us, helping running things, keeping things in order. Appreciate you, Chris, more than I could ever say. You're Speaking of Chris, is another one in the house. Sparta Chris is in the house. Hey, brother, glad to see you. Thanks for being here, hanging out with us, man. It's always good to see you. And Jacob Ironside, if you missed last week's Beetlejuice Talk Hard, it was a blast. And Jacob was so kind to be able to come in kind of last minute, to be honest. We just had a great conversation. By the way, the clip of that, I did a little clip of us talking about the Beetlejuice 2 sequel. Clip that out. So if you just want to just get a little dose of what it was like hanging out with this, that's also on the channel. You can check that out. But make sure you're connected to Jacob as well. Great YouTuber. He has a Tuesday show as well. It starts about 8 o'clock Eastern time. And tonight he is doing another Universal Monster classic film, The Mummy. So you do not want to miss that. So.
Nice.
Yeah. Zach's in the house. Another from the Great White North, my brother. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, brother. Hope you were doing well. Make sure you're, of course, sub to Zach's. And there we go. Another person helping hold down the fort for me, trying to keep things in order. Pat behind the scenes. Thank you so much, brother. Scooby-Doo. House. I'm a baby. I do. I think you're a diaper baby who loves to laugh and have some fun, Pat ass, just like I do. We will do it. We will have our Pop-Tarts, our McDonald's, our cereal commercials. We will enjoy cartoons. Dagnum it. Let's do it. Yeah, look, Zach is doing the wrench. Yeah, look, can't know Zach's it. This movie is one of the great Scooby-Doo movies from the 90s. It's the first one. They acquired Hanna-Barbera for this reason. They wanted to really tap into Scooby-Doo. Obviously trying to fill up the whole Cartoon Network thing, and this movie kind of laid the groundwork for, like, listen, we can do some things differently. Like the whole trope of the villain in a mask thing could be done a little different, and it would still work. And I think they did a perfect job with it. They really did. So we have a Shaggy in the house. Hey there. Look, what's going on, man? Good to see you, John. Hope you're doing all right, man. So, guys, what's up? Yeah, awesome.
Like zoinks.
Boy, totally cool that they're in here, man.
Like, come on, Scoob.
Yeah. Older Scooby-Doo or classic? I know we could do all. That may be what I end up doing, Leia Rose. I head into 2024 is to do some Scooby-Doo episodes or do episodes with my grandkids. It would be the dream. I'm trying to figure that out, like how I can get time with them, and we could do a little, us talking about an episode or something. But we'll see. But they've been my grandkids have been raised on, Scooby-Doo. Where are you? Like that's one of the first things they can usually sing when they're little. So. Best thing about Scooby is the great Frank Welker. Indeed. And actually, Frank is in this, which is just great because not all the other voices are, but Frank, he's there doing it. So Sparta Chris holding down some of the examples, which is great. I like when they solve a mystery with the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, that's an old school wrestler. Yeah, Batman and Robin as well. We have Batman episodes. Yes.
Yeah, the Guess Who with Wonder Woman and different ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Merely greasing the wheel. Yeah. You guys are awesome. So you got to get those Scooby snacks. That's right. So So yeah, no, I remember this from, I had kids, so I'm not gonna, I'm that old, right? So I already had kids when this came out in '98, dropped right to VHS, probably overpaid when I got it because I love Scooby-Doo and wanted my kids to have more Scooby-Doo. So yeah, it dropped. My daughter would have been 4, had at least one of the boys. I don't think he was watching Scooby-Doo yet, but yeah, these movies were kind of staples. Since they were released. I love it. I love the fact that they were able to spin in some, real life scary stuff without getting like bogged down with it. So I love that. So, IRONCASTER, I want to let you start here with what we can share, but also I wanted you to speak to because you messaged our group chat. Cash, I'm sorry if we speak out of turn with that because we randomly talk about our movies of the week over the course of a week. But IRONCASTER pointed out that first 12 to 15 minutes is just so full of a lot of plot, a lot of details. They do a whole lot of work that you can't get out of modern TV in 2 or 3 episodes sometimes.
Yeah. So the first, it's like just this movie off the bat is starting off with kind of getting us back into sort of the groove of, this is who the Scooby-Doo gang are. It's a nice little refresh for kind of, hey, this is, it's more adventure than them doing what they were always doing. But then you have to have we kind of work in this element of, well, eventually they separated. Well, you can't exactly have this. You can't exactly have the Scooby-Doo movie with all the gang and not have them all get together. So we have to kind of quickly put in that Daphne's getting tired. Daphne got tired of always chasing after fake ghosts, always wanting to find like real monsters in this. So she wanted to go on and do this little Hollywood career. And you also get sort of to see kind of what did the rest of the gang wind up doing when they all separated, and it in a lot of ways feels really natural. Like Velma is off doing with a bookstore where she's selling books and selling mystery books. Fred is kind of working with Daphne, still helping her to pursue this career, and Scooby and Shaggy are, well, they're trying to find jobs that get them close to food.
There we go. Here we go. Yep. Can you hear that okay? I didn't play it, so I'm sorry. I have to make sure you guys can hear me okay.
Well, I guess to kind of explain it, like they wind up working for like an airport, track down all that contraband food.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to dispose of it somehow.
And they ate it. And it just keeps all the cheeky Scooby-Doo stuff, like the oversized bellies and things like that. But then they just kind of move on with it. They don't they lose their job, so they have a reason to also be available for another mystery and that kind of thing. I will say, they get a job, they get a call at their job, which just makes me laugh. So there we go. We have Daphne on scene with Fred. And Fred works as basically her camera person. I would think one thing was noted, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, or one thing was funny, is how they both have flirtations with other people, and they both comment on those flirtations, but they're not a couple. It's like, I don't understand how this dynamic's working at all.
Yeah, she's not always happy when Fred's flirting, even in this. So.
Well, I mean, it sort of works for one of those sort of like kind of, it goes sort of unspoken. We're just not even going to address it.
Good point. Yeah.
So what Fred had done was he kind of used her birthday trip as a way of bringing the gang back together for this new TV project where they're going to go travel around and solve mysteries in search of like a real ghost, a real zombie, a real vampire, something real, not just a person in a mask. So, but the gang is back together. It warmed my heart after knowing that the Velma show even exists, because I loved seeing them. I loved seeing them enjoy each other's company and want to be together. Like that's one of the things that's lost in the modern shows, or they've done a couple adaptations. Like, they all want to be around one another. They don't have this horrible disdain. And I will say there's a little bit of that in that first live action film, where there's some disdain and animosity between them. I really don't care. I enjoy the fact that there can be tension between them because they're different, but I don't like the fact that I want them to enjoy being around one another.
Right.
All right. That kind of, and again, I'm just doing that YouTube playlist, folks. It's really, real high tech thing here. So bear with me while I get to another video. Yeah, but what are your thoughts on that first? Because you were messaging me about, a lot actually happens in that first few minutes. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, you get a lot. There's a lot of little snippets of the various adventures that they had, which all sort of, which could have been like full movies full stories in and of themselves, but we're just kind of jumping through those. We're past this one, past that one, and just kind of, it's that familiarity. Like, even though they've all been apart for so long, they all fall back into those kind of familiar routines with one another.
Mm-hmm.
That warms my heart too. Like, they pulled down their little TV station logo and it's the Mystery Machine, and they're happy about it. Yay! High fives, everyone.
We're never exactly sure what goes on in that Mystery Machine, but we feel that's always like the joke. That's right. It really is.
But with that said, I got to be honest. Cash, you were really talking about this earlier too. The maturity of it all, the series. It is really, the animation is beautiful. This is really good stuff.
It's just, it holds up so well. It really does.
And this is that montage you were talking about, Ironcaster, where it's like they're just solving different mysteries, the guys in masks, and Daphne's always disappointed, and they just kind of keep moving through things. I like that one. She doesn't look like she could do much of anything, and she's like supposed to be one of the supervillains.
Well, it's also during this that we get one of those two really memorable songs from this band, where it's kind of talk about how, like, they're kind of trying to hunt all the monsters, but they're always just guys in rubber suits.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do all of that and kind of work our way through each of those sequences. So, imagine Elmer Fudd singing "Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?" Oh, that's kind of fun.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
That's pretty good, Ironcaster. All right. Spork is in the house. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing all right. Fred isn't happy when Daphne's talking to other guys. Daphne isn't happy when Fred's talking to other guys. Come on, we know what you mean. Now, Fred's scooping on the hot girl. He's trying to do his thing. So
yeah.
Dwayne's here. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing all right. Good to see you, my friend. And the Mystery Machine gets a nice upgrade over time, going from the empty cabin to being filled with seats, computers, so on. Yes,
that's true. That's true.
That's very true. Yeah, good on. Bobby is here as well. I love Freddie Prinze Jr.'s little rant about Scooby-Doo being American literature and how it should be taught in school. Oh, I don't know. I don't follow Freddie Prinze Jr. in real life. It won't help me. Yeah. He's way too kooky for my brain to tolerate.
Yeah.
Oh, Ironcaster's got it. Next thing pulled up here. Awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Which, by the way, the backgrounds for this are so beautiful, so beautifully done. This feels like a lot of that sort of traditional sort of cell painted kind of style to it. It probably isn't, but it's reminding me in that same sort of vein.
I think it is. I think they went through a lot of that work to get it. It's impressive. I couldn't agree more. And the character designs are just done well. The lighting is done well. I mean, it's crazy to talk about lighting in a cartoon like this, but there's just so much attention to detail of trying to give us all the ambiance and things like that we're supposed to be feeling. So done exceptionally well. So
even then, like the sort of the upgrade to Daphne's and Fred's designs still feel very in character for them. I'm kind of noticing.
Yeah, we may skip it, but there is an ascot joke. Like, he's trying to put the ascot on, but he's like, nah, never mind. You know what I mean? So they give her a purple blazer, so it's not quite the mini skirt gig that she had going on, things like that. So, but yeah, they did a good job. Hail to you, Claude. Hope you're doing well. Frank is doing Fred. He doesn't do Scooby. So, But Casey Kasem would not do Shaggy for this, so they had to get a different person. So.
Well, who they got sounds good though.
Yeah, I have no complaints there. That's for sure.
Well, as the story goes, famously, to get into that a little bit, Casey Kasem is a vegetarian, and they wanted to have. I guess they wanted to do a Burger King ad tie-in with it.
Huh.
Okay.
And also in the movie to have Shaggy eating crawdads. Well, that
they had already animated the crawdad scene, so it was already done, and they weren't going to cut it. Yeah.
You know, people have little quirks. Always about something.
Come on, man. You're Shaggy. Come on, let's get right to it. So. Great American animation. We need to get back to this. Tell me exactly what you're saying, Cash. Looks familiar, realistic to a point, but still cartoon, but not cartoony. Yeah, and definitely cartoon and cartoony is fine. Juvenile is my thing. I don't like it when it's juvenile. So.
Well, it's unfortunate. I'm sure Ironcast, you agree with this. Maybe you don't, but it's just unfortunate. The animation that we have nowadays, a lot of it is just lazy. It's cheap. It's not acceptable, or it shouldn't be.
And this is what you guys are talking about with the upgrades in the back of the Mystery Machine. It really is funny. It's like a command center.
You look at shows like Freakazoid and stuff like Scooby-Doo and Mighty Mouse. You can go down the list. DuckTales, even the reboot of DuckTales, like they had the older school kind of feel of the comics, but still, like they're just. It's really weird that the animation from what they've done to Thundercats, excuse me, what they've done to He-Man. Even then, you have like really good animation, even from Voltron. Then you have all this nonsense going on. You're like, this is not what Voltron's about. This is not what He-Man is about. What's happening here?
The one thing that's bothering me most too is like it's just who is your target audience? Like I don't understand some of the shows and adaptations because like you obviously don't have kids and this is no longer for kids. So we need to let's not lose this scene because again, this is what the adaptation does well, right? It's moving forward to a more mature storyline. It's going to transfer the mythology a little bit, but we're not going to lose sight of the gags. What makes Scooby-Doo Scooby-Doo, right? Food gags, Scooby stealing the food. Beautifully done. Just a lot of fun.
That's why even like the live action movie, it was like, why do we have to have this bathroom humor that was never in the cartoon? Maybe it doesn't bother you guys, but that kind of stuff bothers me. It's just like, why? Why is this necessary?
And that's one of the things I think helps to really kind of exemplify just why, for example, this movie and the few subsequent ones following this are so standout. Is that this was for the 30th anniversary a sort of a modernization of things. They're starting to get computers into the Mystery Machine where they're no longer these meddling kids anymore. They're adults. They have careers.
Right.
And yet we're able to sort of go back to the core of them being these same characters. They're still kind of in this case solving mysteries.
Yeah, I think it just works. It works so well because I just felt like I was having, and this is what you have to do, right? You have to have kind of 1 foot into where you were, and then the 1 foot going to where you kind of want to grow the franchise towards. You don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face. So.
Yep.
You don't even say her name, Zach. Don't even say her name. It makes my head hurt. I lasted like an episode or so. We could do 30 clips of the insanity from these shows. It's so bad.
It's just crazy because it's like, oh, I enjoyed you so much in The Office. What are you doing now? Like, why are you doing this? Why do you feel you need to lecture us? You don't. Like, just
it's worse than that in my opinion. She has a weird sick fetish that she's Velma. She has some sort of weird sick fetish of like female locker room, and it was unnerving. Like something is wrong with that woman. Like there's something not right.
Yeah,
I mean it just seems like a lot of that kind of came with the Mindy Kaling situation. Not that we're talking about her show, but was she might have kind of gravitated towards an element of the character of Velma, but then had to go and insert herself and make it less so about, and then try to take and push herself onto the character of Velma.
Right. I think it's quite possible. That's true. Yeah. I think it's definitely possible.
Mike is here. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing well. And didn't they cancel the second season? I don't think it survived this strike. I think the strike's being used as an example for it to be canceled, but I don't know.
Well, I've heard some people. I've heard some of the YouTubers talk about this, and I think it's more so that the animation was already. Basically, they had already basically hired the animation company to effectively do 2 seasons back to back because it'd be cheaper that way. It's already been basically allotted for. We're going to be kind of stuck with it. The question is, will they do a third? Will they go ahead and go further? Which I kind of doubt. But then again, the thing is, all the sort of outrage and hate clicks and all that gave it attention.
Right.
Yeah, Chris, I don't get it either. Like, I didn't want a Velma story. Like, I think even the little Scoob movie did a good enough job of giving us an origin story and bringing them all together. Like, it worked okay for me, where, you know, the movie had other problems, but the show, I just don't get it. So. Anyway, let's get back. AC's there. AC's in the house. Love this movie. Yes, AC, we're with you. So, all right, Ironcaster, let's move it along. We gotta get on this road trip here. There it is. There's the still. Oh, so much fun. It's beautiful. So much fun.
All right, let me jump ahead a little bit here. We have.
Yeah, the guys still head out on their journey, right? On the New Orleans.
Yep.
We gotta go in. We gotta kind of work in our little cast of whodunits.
Suspects. Gotta have suspects, right?
Yep. Moonsky Island. I'm just pulling this up.
The guy that does his voice is Jim Cummings. And Jim is one of the few actual voice actors, like, still does just voices. Like, you can go to conventions. I mean, he's a nice enough guy. Hundreds and hundreds of voices.
Tons. Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
You know, of course, we do also didn't really kind of talk about her, kind of bringing into sort of our kind of our the supporting cast, the people that are kind of help, you know, the people with the problem. Getting down into the swamp, we have the cook of a little island down in Louisiana who has supposed ghost problems that's gonna that the mystery team are gonna go and check out.
Yeah, there's basically 2, right? We have Tara, and then we have Tara plays Lena Dupree,
right?
And then you have Simone. So you have these 2 sort of figures. One appears to be very innocent and sweet, and, you know, kind of the flirtatious one with Fred, and the other one's kind of like more of guarded, and she's kind of off-putting, like, not quite sure I want these kids snooping around my island and whatever's going on. So.
Voiced by Tara Strong.
Yeah.
I think this might have been a relatively early role for her too.
And then Barbeau is the other one, I guess. Simone, yeah, that's crazy.
We got the big old catfish, Mojo, and gators.
Gotta have gators in New Orleans. Gotta have all of our cliches with our swamps.
The bayou.
We got a little saying down in the bayou. Bayou.
Yeah. And I always laugh because it's like you never should underestimate Shaggy and Scooby because they will come through at the end.
Of course, you have
the challenge. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
Oh, I'll say Snakebite here. The Louisiana fisherman who's like trying to go after this big old catfish is voiced by Mark Hamill. So
yeah, that's so
we got
crazy.
more voice talent in here.
Yep. I was going to say to what Cash was saying about, underestimating Scooby and Shaggy. I just love the challenge of being like the writer. I would love the challenge, like, okay, well, they have to save the day. Like that's
Exactly.
that's the important trope that
Right.
we have to maintain is they accidentally, in their fear, stumble through traps or whatever, and they help save the day or at least create resolution.
Yes.
It's so much fun to do that. All right.
But of course he's also like this really kind of suspicious individual. So you're being introduced to him already thinking this guy's up to something. This is probably going to be the guy who's involved.
Yeah, it's got the law and order approach, right? We got to give a whole bunch of real shady suspects, throw in a couple here right away, make sure that you got your suspicions up, for sure.
So he's the red herring character.
Folks are in there talking in the chat. I see you guys talking about Mindy Kaling and other stuff. I do want to point this out. Pat says that Jim Cummins is a parent at the school. Kids and stuff are always doing Darkwing Duck things. Great guy. Awful wife. Ex now, thank God. Okay, fair enough. And then, of course, referring to our cute girl there, Lena. She is the catalyst in the conflict while serving as the soothsayer who warns the heroes in the horror movie. Okay, so that would be that wouldn't be Alina. That would be the other one. That would be Simone. And there's an island with ghosts. Be careful. Yeah. Yes, Tara Strong is in everything. Tons and tons of stuff.
Yes.
I think there was just this people. I think there was just some like trending on social media about like trying to cancel her.
Really?
Lord.
Okay. I might have to look into that. Gosh.
Oh, by the way, can we just talk about just how great of a design Simone has?
Yeah, before there were girl bosses, there was Simone.
Yeah.
She's the girl boss without having like weird characteristics that don't seem believable. This just seems like someone at my job or someone that I've been forced to work under or who came in to give an HR presentation or something. Like she has a design that's very, very believable. We do this in 2023 and she's got like shaved heads and purple stripes. You're like, this person wouldn't have this job. This person would not be in this role. It would just,
no, she wouldn't.
So
it's nice to also see. I know this is like late 90s, but it's like, oh wow, a woman actually looking like a woman, a character. Wow, that's something.
Clearly based on Jennifer Lawrence. For us, of you just don't know.
See,
that's right.
I was thinking more Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
That whole Devil Wears Prada sort of aesthetic.
Ironcaster, just so we're clear.
Sorry, what?
Well, Jennifer Lawrence came first.
Yeah, she came first, Ironcaster. You have to remember that.
Of course, how could I forget?
Oh,
man. More food jokks before it gets into the action and the tension. We got to have time to make something. And
get that chili, man.
The gumbo.
I always love making sandwiches for the kids because no matter what we were doing, I would always talk about adding chocolate syrup or sardines or something very Scooby-Doo just to keep them on their toes. Just very casually, just throw it right in, things like that.
We gotta add the marshmallows and cheese.
A little bit of sardines on here, Scoob. Makes me think of a snooty fashion designer. That would work.
Yeah.
And we got to get through our ghost story. Things start to get a little weird, a little strange. So, gosh, you're going to bump ahead till we catch our first zombie. Zombie, yes.
You want me to jump ahead to zombies?
Just the one they catch, because Fred's got to try to pull the mask off. That's the next pivot point, right? We have this sort of setup phase right here before we get too far, but they catch one, and then Fred's trying to take the mask off. Of course, there's no mask.
Right.
Yeah, that was sort of part of the whole. I think I remember part of the marketing for this was this time the monsters are real.
Right.
Even
Yes.
even though before this we had already had Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, the Boo Brothers, the Ghoul School, where the monsters were all very well real. But you still remember that voice, that marketing of this time. It's like, and it's zombies.
Yeah, they just had a great run here of a few years where they would just like put these little twists in their universe. Like, well, there really are things out there. And what do we put the Scooby-Doo gang in the middle of it all? So, all right, we didn't really get a great introduction to the guy there on the far left. He's our resident hunk for Daphne to swoon over. His name is Bo.
Right.
So he's always where the creatures and something are. So he's obviously a suspect.
Another character that ends up being even more interesting than he is, especially at the end. You're like, oh, really? Okay, sure. It's definitely good. Every character, I would say, guys, matters in this show. Wow, what a concept! But
yeah, we don't really waste. I mean, there's just not a lot of time or the frivolousness or the stuff is like obviously the contrivances, right? Of writing a kid show. So you're going to have conveniences and contrivances kind of front and center. Things just kind of keep working themselves out naturally.
right.
People being in a certain place at the right time. But again, when you're thinking about we're thinking about the child show, right? So from, so 7 to 10 years old, I'm like, this is actually very mature. And I'm going to probably hit this beat again later, so remind me, because I'm going to do a thing on Poltergeist here soon. This is in that category of like, how do we get kids interested into horror and scary? How do we expose them to things without like totally traumatizing them, right? So now we have things like Goosebumps and things like that, but back then we didn't have some of that kind of stuff. So Scooby-Doo was kind of a little bit of a gateway to mysteries and things like that. And then and desensitizing, oh, it's all make-believe, kids. This is interesting because it reframes the franchise to go, well, there could be something mysterious out there we don't quite know and understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, like, I like how Shaggy has to have multiple green shirts, and he's trying to decide which one to wear.
I love that Hanna-Barbera cliche. Like, pick one, right? I think it's just, they all have the same clothes, and it's just, I know, AC. I always feel the same. So. Bo was recently hired too. Yeah, he's new. He's a new guy.
Forward a little bit. We got helmet glasses.
Yeah, we have a little bit of glasses. Cliche, but not. Again, it's not as in your face as it is in some of the actual standalone episodes. But it was enough. A little bit of a callback to it, so that's good. I was happy with it.
Of course, that's also where we're starting to get kind of worked in a little bit. Mention of like other points in time and that are kind of coming up. Like, oh, this was from like the Civil War. We had the pirates from like the 1700s. So the plantation's been around for a long time. And also throughout all this, there's also the odd running joke that really stands out, where Scooby-Doo doesn't get along with cats, which is like the first time for the franchise where Scooby-Doo doesn't get along with some other animal that isn't trying to eat them.
Right.
Yeah, there's been a few episodes with like him chasing or barking at a cat or a squirrel or something like that, but he's never been like dangerous around a cat. So it's kind of a interesting thing we do.
They don't need to worry about anything else here. They just keep eating your food. It's nothing. Get back to the food.
Scooby's gonna eat like all the crawdads.
Scooby-Doo in the cyber chase. Yeah, the cyber ghost movie. Yeah, that's good. Here's all the cats, like creepy, eerily in trees and
eerie,
stuff.
Man. Yeah, I like how it's set up. Like,
And notice that, this is only It's an hour and 16 minutes, so it's this is not very long, and
Mhm.
we're just moving right along. Like we're 45 minutes into this, so it's not like this is a cartoon or a show. And these old ones were like that. Like there was just I don't know about you guys, but it seems like whenever I watch things, sometimes I'm like, please just get on with it already. And I watch this, and it just seems like it zipped by.
Well, it doesn't put you to sleep. It just
Yeah.
doesn't. It just has a good pace, and it just keeps going with that. And there's eerie stuff like we were talking about just now, and it's great.
And some beautiful
Yes.
establishing shots.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Like it feels like this should be like almost this should be like a painting up at like Halloween USA, Spirit Halloween.
Right.
Like I would buy these and just to hang them up for like the Halloween season.
Yeah, I wonder who has most of these stills because they've been around for a long time, so they're out into the world now. Because you used to be able to get your hands on some of these at sometimes reasonable prices, and of course the more main characters were in it or something like that, it would be much more expensive. But you can find animation cells that are relatively cheap, but ones that were actually in production and things like that. Sometimes they're harder, or they'll just be pieces of things. Like you'll just get like part of a character because you don't have the whole background or anything like that. You just have like the piece they laid on top. But yeah, it'd be cool to find Zombie Island ones for sure.
Yes.
They eat the super spicy peppers,
Mhm.
and then they do like the one thing that was like had me actually sit up like, no, don't do that. Like, don't go and drink like swamp water.
Right.
But then of course we finally have to have all the zombie stuff really starting to really dial it up.
I have to be honest. I watched this and I thought to myself, I'm not sure I could show this to the littles. Well, you know what I mean? Because I have three that are 5 and 6. I have 5 or 6 and a 3-year-old. If I have a couple littles, I'm not sure they could do the creepiness in this because it is done pretty dark and edgy.
I mean, I would say this is really more of a TV Y7 sort of thing. So maybe another year before you start busting this one out.
Yeah, you usually can just tell with the kid, like they're just different. Like you have to kind of phase it by their development, where they're at, what bothers them, and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are also some of the other like sort of movies of this lot that you could probably do it better than this one. This one, just because this one is full on zombies. We have all the deformed corpses. Like I think one's like head falls off and he puts it back on and twists it back in place.
Yeah, you just have shots like this. You have just stuff that is a little unnerving, right? It's just and look at the animation though, so well done. Like you said, Ironcaster. Look at the background, the way it's blended in, stuff like that. That's really, really cool.
Even like the use of light and the positioning of shadows.
Oh yeah. I mentioned earlier the lighting in this is done really well. I mean, these are really top notch animators. Back to food.
Oh yeah.
A lot more food in this than I originally thought, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's not all Shaggy and Scooby with the food. Like Fred's got to go compliment her pie. Just gonna let that one hang in the air. But there's some spooky stuff going on, so we better bust up the camera. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, they're trying to get on camera proof that something real exists.
Yep.
And here's our suspect. He just shows up at the right time to be suspicious. What were you doing, Bo? Why are you here?
I'm doing my job.
Shadows.
At night?
In the shadows?
Suspicious.
With a brown shirt? Who does that?
You're still suspicious.
He's definitely suspicious.
Oh yeah, and this is where
suspect quicksand.
Yep. Where they make it out that he's about to like hit her with a rock, but then he throws it past her.
And she just says, "You're still a suspect." Robbie.
Yeah, but this is kind of around that
Look at
time
the
where we
design on that zombie though. He's a little creepy.
the sunken black eyes, missing teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just misformed.
He's a pirate.
You know. Mm-hmm.
The worst part of all, he's not just a zombie; he's a zombie pirate.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I see what you did there.
There we
Now
go.
let's check him out.
So I guess I was out of order with the timeline, but yeah, get this mask off, will you, Fred?
Get that right, exactly. This can't be real.
Oh no! Don't get bit.
The saliva.
Well, fine. If you tell you what, you know, if you can't stop shaking, we're gonna pass the camera off to Daphne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Shaggy can't hold it.
You're pulling on it. That's so funny.
You know, you think
It's
like
not a mask.
Nope.
Yikes! I pulled the whole head off.
Oops.
Awesome. Great for laughs, but also just like kind of creepy. It's like, wow.
Yes, it is. Like, oh, yeah. Well, that didn't go as well as planned.
and just kind of let's grab his head.
Yep.
No, I don't
This
think
will
this is
be
a man.
good footage.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we should, you know, let's film this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we totally didn't just find a zombie.
With its head being torn off, and then it comes back to life and puts its head back on backwards, upside down.
You're like, okay, yeah, this is definitely the zombies at work here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You gotta turn it, and there he goes. Yep.
There you go.
oh, yeah, you've got that nice little kind of crunchy, like kind of wet sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not quite the dried out mummy zombie. He's more like a icky, gooey zombie.
I mean, he is
I don't
down in
think
like
he
a
has an eye patch.
yeah, he's down in like a swamp where everything is moist.
Mm-hmm.
These are voodoo zombies, like a white zombie. You're right.
And that is nice to see for a change of pace, where everything isn't just the same old, same old. Oh no, you got bit. You're going to turn into one.
Right.
I know it's hard for all of you to believe this, but we didn't really have a lot of that mythology because we didn't have a lot of zombie stuff back in the day. Not until 28 Days Later brought it all back. So,
Well, I mean, a lot of that ultimately stems from the whole Night of the Living Dead. That's
yeah, that was years before all this. Like, so that was like it all fizzled out. Like we just zombie. It's like vampire stuff. I was going to do something on Lost Boys. I'm like, yeah, but it's like it doesn't age well because people lose sight of the fact that we just didn't have vampire stuff for a while. Like you had like some comedy type stuff that was done with vampires, and you had like, you know, obviously you had Christopher Lee stuff with the Hammer films and things, but we had this gap. We didn't have a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly certain things sort of like trigger the genre, and you know how we've talked about copycat stuff. So with the cartoon taking off like this, and they knew they could get into a lot more realism and try different creatures, that hence the reason we ended up getting the witch. I'm sorry, I don't know the names by heart, but it's Witch's Ghost. Is that right? Witch's Ghost, I think. And then there's the vampire legend, and then there's a Loch Ness one, things like that. So yeah, that is a beautiful, beautiful frame.
I believe they've done like 30 or so of them since this.
Well, they're big. Well, back when we did physical media, they were good money makers. So I don't know where we're at now with making them, but it seemed like that would be the way to go, because you know kids just want to watch stuff. Oh, trust me, when you have kids, they'll just watch something over and over and over again.
I remember those days.
Like it was yesterday, right, Ironcaster?
Yeah, back to watching Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
That's it. Put it in again. Play it again, Pops. Okay, I see. I will. Make sure you drink your Capri Sun.
I drank it already.
Okay, that's a good boy. Would you like some more Check Mix? You gotta sit down. Keep your feet. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. I'll start. I'll start the movie now. As long as you behave.
So what? This is the part where we get the what I would say is probably the big song of this. It's terror time again.
Mm-hmm.
And what's kind of fascinating watching it is you're watching it and it's like the zombies aren't actually like hostile.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching through it again, kind of thinking about that. Like they reach out, they give them like vines to save them from like the quicksand.
Yeah, there's a couple quick moments like that where you don't quite get it, like because it's playing for the Scooby-Doo gag, right? I need something to save myself, and then the ghost or the vampire or whatever it is actually holding it, so Shaggy or Scooby just take it from them. So it's sort of like played that way, and I think it lends itself to being the perfect twist because of that Scooby-Doo trope, and then okay, Phil McCracken trying to start troubles, Cash.
Yeah, he's always trouble, man. I've known this guy for a
around
while.
Here though, we're not phased.
No, nobody should be phased by him. He's a good guy, but sometimes you just got to throw him in the dinghy.
And by the way, like how great are like the various designs of them, because you have them from like all these different eras. Like you got like the pirate ones, you got like a sort of a like 1920s like gangster, like they came out of like a Prohibition era film.
Right.
You've got the couple that were just like on vacation.
Yeah. Ironcaster, they all they want to do is go to a nice vacation, and then they turn into zombies. What a way to go, man.
Harold, I'm never gonna let you live this down.
Right? Dang it, Harold. Yeah.
I wanted to go to the Alps, but no, Harold wanted to go to the bayou.
Yeah.
You just had to see Bourbon Street.
See Phil smashing the like, even though Cash Money is on. Well, you know what, Phil? We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. So let's just say thank you to Phil McCracken real quick.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. We do appreciate you. Phil McCracken. Ophelia McHawk. Ophelia McHawk.
This is one of those things you couldn't do in this movie, though, is we can't have like Confederate soldiers.
Good point. Yeah.
That's a lot of really good detail, though, on their uniforms and stuff being tattered the way they are, and yeah, just really good stuff. Just really good stuff. Folks, if you've never seen this or haven't watched it in a while, I'm telling you what, it was really just kind of a blast to have on. Just a lot of fun. So
it really is.
I haven't seen this since I was a kid. Yes, well, Sassam, I just tell you what, it is so refreshing to go back and watch. I'm going to just call it vintage animation. So anything that's before 2000 in particular. So this stuff is great. This stuff is great.
It really is.
Last century animation. Just more of these beautiful like
detail on the moss and stuff, like you were saying. Yeah. Look at the half zombie. This was fun. I loved it. And look at how perfectly they drew Daphne. That's her pose from the classic cartoon, right? So she does the bow-legged things with her elbows straight out. See, that's the perfect way you call back to the original thing. The body language doesn't really change. So,
like we can have these kind of this evolution of the character, but we still do the callbacks every now and then. We kind of go back to in moments like this where it's okay to have them be vulnerable.
Agreed. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. I don't need to see a movie where like Velma and Daphne are being the big brave heroes, like fighting the monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like it should always be like some silly, elaborate trap they get tricked into.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris, I understand. It's a lot of fun. I really just
it's a fun movie. Yeah.
All right, so this would be one of my pet peeves because I feel like we ended up getting a little too complicated by adding in like the voodoo doll things too. Because I'm like, okay, wait, pick our lane of what's actually happening now. So then, so basically, the long and short of the story, spoiler alert if you've never seen it, is we end up with like a trifecta of real creature stuff, right? So we already have real zombies. So now we're going to have real voodoo. And then, of course, at the end, we have, who the real big bads are. But I'm like, we didn't really need voodoo exactly. But I think they didn't have enough time, right? Because what are we on time, Caster? We're still less than an hour, right? Or we're right around an hour.
We are just under 55. We are at 55 minutes in. This
right.
Is...
So they want to get to about an hour 20. They got to go to hour 15, hour 20. It's like, well, we got to fill out something. We don't have a reason for these, So if I had a plot device that bothered me a little bit or something, I'd say, I don't know why we had to have the voodoo dolls. I wish there was a way to have some other plot device that would have transitioned better. I guess we'll just say spoilers, guys, before we get to the werecats. Is what they are. We say werewolves, we have werecats. So
I think that sort of is an issue of this movie. Is sort of the third act suffers a bit because we have to kind of try to wrap this up. And maybe if they were able to get like an extra 15 minutes to go for a full 90-minute run, they might have been able to work some more stuff in to kind of better pad that out.
What would you guys want then instead of the voodoo dolls? Have you thought about what something you would want? Or
see, that's kind of where I'm stuck because I actually disagree because I don't really want it to be longer. I just need a different bridge to the werecats. I need something else. So I probably would have had Shaggy and Scooby find something that would have pointed to werewolves, but they're not actually werewolves. They're werecats, right? Hence the reason we have cats everywhere, things like that, right? So I would have sort of like a misdirection type clue. So I don't exactly know how I'm going to resolve this because I understand all the plot devices with the voodoo, so that it makes everybody bounce around, and then of course they get tied up. So then Shaggy and Scooby have to save everybody. I know I got a lot of rewriting to do in this third act to make that work, but I felt like voodoo dolls feels out of place in some ways. That, and again, this is not a major hang up for the movie, but this would be the closest thing I come to like a story structural type of thing for me.
All right, so I'm thinking, maybe we kind of keep the werecat thing. We keep them being lured, the gang being lured to the island to be sacrificed, and then maybe because while they're trying to like explore and try to find the zombies that totally the ghosts that aren't there, something happens to where they wind up inadvertently letting that loose on the island, and now it's become real. Like I'm just trying to spitball some ideas for how to kind of better work into this ultimate like werecat thing, and they need to sacrifice people to maintain their eternal youth.
Yeah, and it's like and that almost makes like a fourth layer of complexity, right? Because we have the zombies, then we have the werecats, and then it's like, well, we have voodoo dolls, and then we have what the werecats are doing involves actual sacrifice so they can maintain their power. It's like, well, hold on. So it just felt a little convoluted, and I didn't really spend time kind of like rewriting the screenplay here to try to figure out the best way to do it. It works fine. Again, like I think when you pull the time up, we're only talking about what 15 minutes left. Like it's not like they're gonna spin their wheels and dwell on this stuff for a whole lot of time and make my brain hurt. They just kind of move through it quickly. I just think it could have just been a little bit more of a linear connected dots.
I think
none of my
maybe...
kids mattered. You guys didn't seem to matter, so I don't know why I'm getting all hung up on it. But that was where my brain. That's where my brain is.
I think Spartacus kind of has the sort of the right direction in the chat there to have them be drugged instead, and then because you already have Shaggy and Scooby already kind of because they're already kind of sent out because of the dog, because Scooby's a dog. They aren't there to eat that meal.
Okay, how about this? Again, I like spitballing. How about this? They catch Fred, Velma, and Daphne, but they use food or something that drugs Shaggy and Scooby, but they don't, because they don't realize that Shaggy and Scooby are not fazed by anything, right? So that they wouldn't have actually been fazed by the drug or whatever it is in the food and whatever. So you know what I'm saying? Like that type of joke works in the Scooby-Doo mythos, and therefore that gives the Scooby and Shaggy the freedom they would need to save the day. That makes sense. All the Scooby snacks make them like resistant to the knockout effect.
It
would even phase them. Yeah.
Like these are some expired Scooby snacks.
Give me some more of those voodoo chips, man. Those are tasty.
Like today we're gonna try the one chip challenge.
Yeah, or like Pop said, I mean, just a clue that could lead them to that. I hadn't thought much about that, Pops, but you bring that up now. My brain's starting to spin a little bit too. It's just like
sorry, I do that. I break.
It's fine, but
things.
Yeah,
it's again. I'm not.
It's
trying
a little
to
nitpicking. I get it, man. It's just no. You could definitely have something else there. You know, it doesn't really hurt the film that it's there, but maybe there could be something better. I see what you guys are saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think we could have used the voodoo stuff for another movie. I think we could have just had the voodoo part, and we could have just done the zombies to the werecats. Because they easily could have just been caught with Bo in some sort of trap, or Bo isn't caught, so it makes him look suspicious, or I don't know. We could have easily have just connected this up, but again, I think it still works because they don't spend a lot of time making it very convoluted. They just kind of keep things moving.
Right.
Well, apparently part of this, the voodoo werecat thing, kind of came from some leftover script ideas for SWAT cats from one of the other Hanna-Barbera shows.
That makes sense. Yeah. Hot peppers on the island helped them build up their tolerance. Yeah, that makes sense. Crawdads, they ate all those crawdads.
They did.
You got to call back to the crawdads, sure.
They have some resistance.
I have to be honest, if you haven't already, we should coin the term voodoo-ish. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but I love it. The voodoo-ish should be a word. It should just be shirts that say, we have to write that down. Shirts that just say voodoo-ish on it. That's all it does. That's all it says.
Yeah.
Swap the Werecast for Pumpkinhead and make the film more. Well, no, I think it's a little too much soul assassin, but I do like how your brain's working. Look at the shadows, though. Look at that. This is not like juvenile at all. This is very, very smart.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of hard to kind of take it serious in that sort of direction when you have literally like the dumb, innocent smile of Scooby-Doo.
Well, he's playing with the doll. Like, he doesn't understand. Like, I think this all works perfectly. What makes it even better and more mature is she's not in her purple outfit, right? So if you have a voodoo doll in the old cartoons will actually have, like, their attire, right? Whereas this actually looks more like what you would think of as an actual voodoo doll, which is like it has a resemblance, but not necessarily a likeness. So I think it actually, again, it's more mature. But I'll give Scooby a pass on his childlike demeanor. That's fair. I like that. Here we go. Now we're in action. Scooby-Doo, Shaggy running from the eyes. That's the best.
Rats.
Like, let's get out of here, Scoob. Oh, that is so good.
Yeah, there's a little detail in here I noticed watching it. Like, even like the weasel the weasel shawl, even that the eyes on that seem to be lit up.
Yeah. Just the curvature of the fingers. I mean, just the intricacies of all the design. They don't make them all look alike. So it's before we would render on a computer where they can copy and paste, right? So they actually have to hand draw differences, things like that. You notice there's a lot more in comic books too, because see how you have, even with the trees, even though they're like, it's a lot of black, notice there's enough differences that the leaves feel real. You look at a comic book when this has just been done with like Photoshop or whatever, it just doesn't. It just looks like a giant blob of something, in my opinion. So
you can just see the passion in the animation too. From a lot of the stuff that we have now, pops. It's just a lot of passion there. And in a way, it can. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was saying it makes you want to go and explore this plantation.
Exactly.
Like look at the detail, the beauty into it.
I know. I want to explore it now too.
Don't worry, Fred's like the safest one here.
Yep, he'll be okay. Sort of.
Turns out there's like secret caves. Secret spooky caves.
kind of like the beginning, this end, there's a lot of stuff happening in the last 15-20 minutes of this movie. There's a lot going on.
Which kind of mirrors the start of the movie. We had so much work into the very beginning, but that was to help sort of kind of bring us back up the stream with who the characters are. Whereas this is like, now we got to resolve all the plot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I would spend some time just kind of streamlining a little bit of this to kind of make it, because it just seems like it's a lot just jammed together, and we also have concepts that are jammed together. All right, the big reveal, the big twist, right? They grab their voodoo dolls, they throw them against the wall towards the fire, and now we're going to see they're actually werecats. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Turns out we're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Owe me that apology.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh yeah, you look at this one shot, and there were about 1,000 fan fictions written about Velma and Bo.
So one of the key animators for this, she worked on the original Lord of the Rings from 1978.
Oh wow!
Really?
She did over 50 episodes of Powerpuff Girls.
Wow.
Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, What a Cartoon. I mean, her name is Nelda Ridley. But yeah, that's a lot of credits. And but based on the date of her death, she worked pretty much till the end. That's crazy. Yeah. She was one of the painters on everything. Mm-hmm. Now, this is again, if I had to be critics, I've given them, I know these people will come at us with hate in the comments. I've given this movie a lot of love for its animation. Not a big fan of the werecat designs. I'm not a huge fan of the werecat's face. It's okay. It is what it is for a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Everything else is just so good. I felt like this was almost like not good enough. Like I found it disappointing. And her hand is very misproportioned to what it should be. I mean, her hand should be the size of her face. It's way over her head. Like it's massively misproportioned to what they were 5 seconds ago. So it seems like whoever worked on this last quarter of the movie with werecats, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, also you have that sort. You also have a bit of a kind of, you're not having consistency across the transformations, where the one just has the yellow eyes, the other one has the white. So it's like they didn't like kind of decide what should be the sort of uniformity to it.
Mm-hmm. Now,
one of the key animation people, he's called the key animator, because I don't know how much of this was farmed out overseas, but this is a person that did a little bit of work on like Lupin, did an episode of One Piece. So there are a couple of folks. His name is Hiroki Abe and Yukiko Abe and Hiroko Akimoto. So there's a few folks that are from overseas. So I don't know how much got farmed out overseas. I am not trying to place blame. Maybe they were in charge of zombies for all I know. I have no idea. So. Zombies, yes. Zombies were the good guys all along.
We've got to get our
Hashtag
giant.
Cancer Pops. Mm-hmm.
We got to get our giant magnifying glass pops, and then we'll find out. Start looking at the clues.
It's Subversion. Before it became the only book and the only trick in the Hollywood book.
True. Anonymous. Foreshadow. Yes. I closer to the hand get, the bigger it seems. Yeah. So we got a little flashback sequence, a little bit of the explanation of what the weird cats are, who they are, wherever, things like that. So, yes. Yeah. Subversion done right. Yes.
I do find it. I kind of going back to it now. I totally forgot that it was supposed to be like a cat god cult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, oh, so I guess we're without even saying it, we're kind of doing a little bit of black magic.
Right.
I had totally forgot about that.
They were just having a fun time, Ironcaster.
Praying to their peppers.
That's right. Praying to their cat god, and then these freaking pirates have to come and mess up the fun.
So again, I'll say that part of what probably makes this movie work well is its complexity as well, because you guys can go back and watch it. You'll pick up on stuff you didn't see before. You'll pick up on new things like that. So me dumbing it down or wanting to make it a little more linear is probably not in his best interest for its legacy, but because it's not like it's too hard. It's not like it's hard to follow. It makes sense. Everything's all buttoned up well.
Exactly.
But, yeah. I do like the fact that they subdue the color palette for the flashback sequences, so we get a good different style sort of inserted as well.
Yeah. Well, it's only 70 minutes, so it's not it's super short. You're in, you're out.
Right. I mean, I just enjoy.
A good point there too. Not being victims. Yeah, good point.
That's true. Yeah, and I just enjoy quality backgrounds. It doesn't matter if it's animation or whatever. It's just interesting background that definitely connects well to the story. So,
of course, they also are smart enough to use it to explain, where the plantation came from. How did the house get here?
Right.
A bunch of Louisiana farmers came in and they made a plantation.
Yep.
And then we picked them off over time.
Yep. What a great little island.
Yeah. What is it about this place that just everyone's like, yeah, no, this seems like a place I'm totally gonna go.
Nothing looks weird. Oh, you see those cats in the tree? Oh, it's fine.
Oh,
there's only 20 of them.
Oh, these two women that are just living here by themselves, without the houses.
It seems normal.
They just sort of walked in and oh yeah, by the way, we were totally with you guys this whole time. Bill? Yeah, you're. No, my name is Frederick. No, I'm sure it's Bill. I mean, yeah, we totally call you Bill all the time, right?
Right.
Jacques. Where's Jacques? Where's Snakebite? Where's all of our suspects? We have to wrap everything up.
Well, there's one.
Yep.
He was in on it all along.
He has a mustache. Very good.
They needed a driver, so.
I'm Wilford Brimley.
And I have diabetes. Yeah.
I have onset cat diabetes.
Yeah.
It never gets old for me. I love Scooby-Doo and Shaggy stuff so much. It never gets old. So.
Oh, yeah.
What is he post by Christmas list on Amazon? I would never do such a thing. My kids have a hard enough time trying to find things for me. I'm like, no. I don't need for nothing. Thank you, Pat, for that offer. I appreciate that. So. I want to know the origins of the cat cult. How far does it go back? I know.
Yeah.
We need to know.
We must know.
Here's a tourist zombie.
Mm-hmm. It's Harold. Harold's back.
Yeah, he just, he's taking some pictures, and then for some reason he felt a hand on his back, and
It's Confederate Bill.
Yeah.
He showed up. The whole gang's here.
But anyone would feel the same way. What do you mean the zombies are the good guys?
Huh?
What?
Cat diabetes from eating too many people. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah,
that's such a great. That's
probably.
a funny shtick. Good job, Jacob. All right.
So hijinks happen, and they basically are able to spend enough. Oh, they got the peppers.
Yeah,
They're able to
a little bit more.
like,
They knock the voodoo dolls away from the fire, so now
Yep.
the others can all move around safely.
Right.
Yeah, but they're going to fall under the spell of the werecats and be at risk and be at harm's way.
Yep, they are.
So turns out girls like playing with dolls.
Yeah, who knew? But here come the
Who
werecats.
knew? Yeah. Here they
Gonna
go.
mess up the playtime. I also note that their dresses, the werecat dresses, appear to get more tattered as the movie goes on. I'm not sure I totally understood why, but it does. It's okay. Here come the zombies.
Here they are, the savior. Here they come.
Oh,
I
so
always wondered what
right.
happened to the village people.
They just have all the different Eddie costumes show up from Iron Maiden.
Good job, Soul Assassin.
Back, fire!
Yeah, it's not gonna work because those werecats or whatever, they're pretty strong. So, oops.
I love the fact that the one zombie doesn't. He has white goatee facial hair, so I guess even if I turn into a zombie, I'm still gonna have the same look. I like it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Hail to you, DJ Ronnie G. We got you. Yes, CashMoney's in the house.
The man with a bounty on his head, you can only measure in double dollars.
That's right. You got it, Ironcaster.
All right, so it wraps up pretty well. I don't know if you got to the pepper gag. Did we get the pepper in the eyes?
You know, because remember, so we learned something new, right? You know, you gotta squeeze the pepper in someone's eyes when they're chasing us. Bad people.
It's extremely dangerous, by the way. I can imagine how much.
Oh, I'm sure it would be. Yeah.
Right. All right, we have to wrap up Ironcaster. We're at like 10 of.
All right. So unfortunately for our cat people, they wind up
Yeah.
their window of time is up, and so they start to melt.
Yep.
But the zombies were friends all along.
Yeah, who knew? I don't know. You guys want to be friends with zombies?
Sure. They can be useful. You never know.
They can be useful. That's true. Yeah.
And the Confederate general, he says his final farewell. Thank you, Scoob.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No one's
and they dropped the camera in the quicksand, so they have no actual evidence.
And that was unfortunate. Yeah.
Turns out he's a federal agent.
Yep.
Looking into all the
Detective Bo Neville.
Good job, Bo. You did it, man. Did your undercover work. You're not a suspect anymore. Yeah.
You're not a suspect. You're an informant.
That's right.
And with that, the movie comes to a close. They all go back. They all go back, and we sort of resume back to business as usual.
It just kind of continues within the universe, and everything just works out pretty well. So, yeah, there was a crappy sequel. Don't even acknowledge it exists. And good Jinkies reference. We gotta go out on Jinkies reference. That's good. So, Cash, what were your thoughts, man? You saw it a few months ago. You got a chance to watch it again. What was like the new impression, new thoughts?
It was horrible. No, it was really good, man. The zombies, the way the cast came together, just the fun hijinks. It's hard for me to ever hate Scooby-Doo unless it's Velma, but it's very hard for me to hate something like this. We had an interesting plot, background, just things that I enjoy, and I agree with you guys. Like, I can't stop talking about the animation either. and the backgrounds is like Ironcaster said, it's like a painting. Some of it is just incredible work. But yeah, you had evil bad guys. Oh no, bad guys! They weren't misunderstood. Those ladies, they were evil, but they were also revenge, all about revenge. But then they craved it a little bit too much.
Yep.
The food sequences and I think it's a really good film overall. I really do. I could definitely watch it again. So
I thought a lot of the food stuff was much more memorable now to me. Like than kind of sitting down with the really hot peppers like that. That stands out to me. Like I said, just kind of the more we kind of talk about the third act, the more it sort of shows those flaws.
Right. They're minor though, man. They're minor. I just they don't really hurt the film too much at all. But yeah.
It's ultimately about I'd say as it is, it's about a 7. Like the third act could use some work, and maybe it's need another rewrite to really fix it up. But I'm happy with it.
That's about right. About 3.5 stars on my scale. I'm good with that. 3.5 out of 5 sounds good. So Seth, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. So yes, they did about 4 or 5 right in a row. Just boom, boom, boom. Probably went in production pretty similar. In timing, one was success. They just kind of kept cranking them out for a couple of years. So that's a good one.
And well, the other thing about that, the Witch's Ghost, it wanted to bring in 3 of the most popular modern additions to the franchise, which is the Hex Girls.
Right.
Those are characters that to this day they will bring back for the little cameos, like Scooby-Doo and What's New or whatever that one series is, the modern series is. Like they made sure to bring in the Hex Girls as a cameo. People love those 3.
That's true. That's true. The Hex Girls are definitely beloved. I think it just taps into that like goth chick type thing that they love to do. So yeah, good stuff. Very good stuff. I was really struck by the twist. The twist was really done well. I really enjoyed the fact that the zombies are friends all along, kind of thing. And I just thought as a kid that would have been pretty cool. Like I really was glad to see that. And there wasn't like a guy in a mask. Like it just did pretty well. So something different, something interesting, and really good. So.
Yeah, and I feel even stuff like the working as security guards, Scooby and Shaggy, it's like they probably would get fired. They were doing something with food on the job.
And badass, I will say, I think that's what I actually don't hate on the live action. I know what live action is. It's a 2-star movie at best. Like it's a mess. But they at least mock Scrappy-Doo, so I'm good with that. But, they do make Scooby films. Yeah, it's all digital. Is the problem, in my opinion, Soul Assassin. Once you start going digital, and again, look at a comic book online, and you can just see the difference between something that was drawn in the 80s and 90s versus now. And there's so much. Eric O'Sullivan talked about the pressure of the pencil, and it's all gone because the computer, and it's just that you lose something. And this film had so much of that. Like we were talking about, like the moss and the trees, and some of the details with the zombies and their fingers and facial features and things like that. It's just, it's kind of a fun. I'm glad we did. I'm glad it was a nice little Halloween mix up, but something that'll kind of give you fun to be around in the background. It's not like you have to stay glued to your TV to follow it or anything like that. It can be safe for the kids to be around, things like that. So definitely is a good choice. Good fun mix up for sure. All right. Cash, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world, man, before we head out the door here. Make sure you check out CashMoney and his channel, Phantom Hooligans. And he's over on Mike's. He's over with Mike at Pacific 414, friend of the channel, things like that. So, tell us a little bit more about what's going on, man.
I have a channel called the Phantom Hooligans, and yesterday I did an 8-hour stream. I was playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and funny enough, Phil McCracken was in there, so we were just talking and having fun. But I feel like I've got more of a direction for my channel because I used to stream on Twitch, but with the Phantom Hooligans, I been working on gaming streams and demos, and I'm also just learning more stuff that I never did before on Twitch. So, but yeah, the Phantom Hooligans, I'm just trying to grow it and be more consistent about it. But yeah, that's my channel.
It's recommending Loch Ness Monster. Good. All right, Chris, we've done our work here. We've changed up your algorithm for you, so for at least you'll get Scooby-Doo content for the next couple of days. Appreciate that. Oh, there we go.
I'm going to go watch some of the classic show.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Which I think is still free on Tubi. We get to plug Tubi again, Ironcaster.
It is indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, Tubi's got a lot of stuff, so.
I see. What's going on, man? You still doing a T-shirt in about a half hour or so?
Yep, I will be on an hour to do a little bit of a midweek in geek, and I believe we'll be having on a creator to help promote his Kickstarter for his comic book. Sorry, I think it's The Screecher was the book.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. Well, everything is in the description, folks. Make sure you have connected to everyone. We appreciate all of your feedback and suggestions. Loki should be back next week. We'll be doing Christine, which is just a fun one because I have not watched Christine in a long while. So it was kind of a fun one to throw into the mix with all the different things that we're doing, picking from. And I don't know. It's one of those movies that it turned 40 years old. It's like, oh, Lord, makes me hurt. I don't know. I don't know. I remember seeing it in the theater. Like it was one of those where it's a scary movie. It wasn't really a scary movie in the theater. Like it was like one of those. And it was like, wow, he's 40 years old. That's crazy. Then of course on Halloween, we will be here talking hard on Halloween and we will pay tribute to the GOAT. Yes. Halloween 1978, the original slasher. It just changed the genre. It changed everything. So we'll be doing that for our next 2 weeks before we head into November, as we will try to carve out some sort of Thanksgiving themed film or two. I don't know. Yeah, we got a couple of things we've been talking about. We'll have to knock that out for you guys.
We could go watch Thanksgiving.
Or not. We will let people find that on their own. And I don't know what to tell you, folks. You don't make it more than a few seconds, and you're like, wow, I can't have that on at work. So yeah, it's a little rough. Well, Cash, let me again say thank you again for hanging out with us and being here, part of things. Awesome, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. It was a lot of fun. I hope we do it again soon.
That sounds great, folks. Make sure you're connected to everybody. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you check your subscriptions to make sure that you got everything going on there. Tomorrow will be Comic Book Day. We'll be throwing together some sort of video tomorrow for you. I don't know that I'll have a ton of content this week. Still a lot of things going on, so maybe that'll be my topic for this weekend. But yeah, we do rocking and rolling through, doing the YouTubes, doing the things, and yeah, it's great to have everybody here. Great chat. Thank you all, Chris, Pat, Zach. I think he was throwing down some mod work there. Appreciate that, Zach, because you always make me laugh. But yeah, I appreciate everybody doing here. Cash, Ironcaster, it's been great. It's been awesome hanging out with you, folks. Listen, make tomorrow a little bit better than today. Have fun. Get out there. What can make a smile on your face in a Bob Ross time? So here you go.
Ross, all I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't wanna cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross.